So, what to expect today? We are going to talk about the Massage in Schools program and how it relates to the emotional literacy for children and why it's that so important. So, this is our agenda. First, we're going to do brief introductions. We're going to discuss why emotional literacy matters. What is the MISP, Massage in Schools program, for those who don't know? Why the MISP works? And then we'll go into testimonials and research, then have a Q&A session. And that was the first part. The first part should take about 30 minutes or so. The second part is the MISA, Massage in Schools Association of the US. And we're going to talk about the past, present, and future. So if you want to stick around for that, if you're an instructor or want to know how to become an instructor, then I welcome you to do that. But first, introduction. My name is Anita Prendergast, and I am a massage therapist and a relationship coach. And I started my company, Village Academy for Families, to teach how to build healthy relationships using positive touch. I'm also the president of the Massage in Schools Association of the United States of America, and I'm so excited to be here today with Mia, who is the co-founder of the Massage in Schools Program International Representation. So Mia?
Hey, thank you. Yeah, co-founder. I was co-founding with this program with Sylvie, and I was born and raised in Kansas, but have lived in Sweden since 1977. So I feel I belong in both places. But I wanted to give a little bit of history, a little bit of background. Shirley, it's exciting to see you because you were in the very first training Sylvie and I had together in the
Yes.
States, in Colorado. And a lot's happened since then with our program, but I wanted to just kind of go back with a little bit of history. And our history together, Sylvie and I, was based out of baby massage. We were both baby massage instructors and trainers. And Sylvie was teaching a movement program in Canada, and I had put together a little massage program for the daycare kids in Sweden. And so this was, both of them were just going along as usual. What we found in the daycare program is when the kids started first grade, they wanted their massage, and there wasn't one. And one of the little boys stood up and said, then we're gonna go on strike. And it kind of shocked the teachers. So the teacher called me and said, Mia, you got to put together a massage program, but the clothes have got to be on, and it can't be more than 7 minutes and no oil, and do it right now because after Christmas, the kids are going on strike. And so I called Sylvie, and together over Christmas, we put together something that we thought would work. And it did. And we had a conference in London in 1999. And this was 1 month after Columbine shooting. So everybody was really raw around what had happened there. In this presentation, there were 350 people there, but 80 of them were teachers. And after this presentation that I had, they come to me and said, we would like you to start this program in our inner city school in London. It was the worst school. They were having 6 teachers a day being abused by the children. The children, they were expelling 4-year-olds from school because they were badly behaved. They were not coming to school on time. It was just really quite a mess with this school. The parents were not active. It was the worst inner city school in London. And the teacher said, we can't get any worse, so bring the program in. And it took us 6 weeks. And after 6 weeks, the teachers said, we are now able to teach. We're now able to do our job. And it was really exciting. The kids were coming to school on time because they didn't want to miss their massage. They were doing this program both before school and after lunch because they saw that it just seemed to be helping the children calm down. They went from abusing 6 teachers a day to just a couple a week, which was also too many, but they saw such big changes, and they no longer were the worst school in London. So the school who ended up the worst, they called them and said, "Hey, you've always been the worst. Now we're the worst. What are you doing?" And they said, "The only thing we're doing different is a massage in schools." And that's what sort of gave us the boost to continue trying to implement this throughout the world. And today, I believe we're in how many? 38 countries, I think we're in right now with our program. So it took 48 countries globally. So it really took the program and gave it a boost. And that's why I say to instructors, if you can't get in one school, go to the worst school, go to the inner city schools, anything you can do to get your foot in. And often there is funding for these schools. And this is one place that we can absolutely come in. Yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you for that. Okay, so let's talk briefly about the definition of emotional literacy and why that matters so much. Here, as you can see on this slide, school shootings in the US is has overrun the US, right? So as of November 4th, 2024, there has been 288 school shootings in the US, and it is reported that 1 out of every 5 students report bullying. And this is something that I think is unique to the US, especially the school shootings. Bullying happens across the board, but here in the US, school shootings is unique. And this is one of the reasons why I started my company because I know that part of the reason is the connection or the lack of connection that we often feel, that students feel either at home or in school, and it, and it's bothersome, right? I think, Mia, you said that if children hurt children, then it's the adults that have the problem or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. The way I see it is when children shoot children, we've got the problem. It's the adults that have to do something about it. We have to make a change. We have to do something. And that's where I feel this program has a place. It's sad. I mean, the school shootings in the United States have decreased from last year, but 288 of them, that's more than one a day. And do we even hear about them? That's what's almost more scary. They're in the back page of a newspaper or not even on the news. So that's where I think we can make a real big change, because I think a lot of the school shootings are grounded in bullying.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And with London, they had a big bullying problem. There was not school shootings there then, but they did have a bullying problem, and I think that's where the school shootings are grounded.
Absolutely. And Mia, you said how we hear a lot about the shootings, but what about the ones that we don't hear about? There was a school lockdown where there was a threat. It wasn't a shooting that was local, just a couple of minutes away, a couple of blocks away from where I live. And it upset the whole neighborhood. So, we think that these things are just unique to, or they just affect the kids in the school. It doesn't. It affects the kids in the school. It affects their families at home. It affects the whole neighborhood. I don't have kids in school anymore. And I'm a nervous wreck for for these kids that are going to school, and I really want to help them with the bullying aspect of it, with the home aspect of it. I am a relationship coach, and I do focus my practice on moms, on overwhelmed moms, because a lot of times that's, it starts at home. Sometimes we say it starts in the home, and we can teach these kids these things in school, and then they bring it home to them. So then they have a more relaxing home environment. So hopefully the moms and families aren't as overwhelmed. And maybe that will help with bullying. It's just, to me, it's just a continuum of possibilities when we talk about emotional intelligence or emotional literacy. right? So let me go ahead and share my screen again, and let's talk about what is emotional literacy, right? When we talk about emotional literacy, if I can get to my next slide there. I got this from Google AI, okay? I love AI. It just is such a shortcut. It takes everything it knows from the internet and puts it into these three little paragraphs that I have here. So emotional literacy is the ability to recognize, understand, and manage one's own emotions, as well as the emotions of others, to understand the emotions of others. It's an important skill that can help establish a stable relationship with one's emotions and is critical for mental health and well-being. We talk a lot here in the United States about mental health and well-being, but the one thing that I realize is that we're shying away and we're not talking about physical touch. Touch is a direct link to your emotions. And probably in different areas of the world as well, we're so touch phobia that we're missing this very important aspect of emotional literacy. The second definition from Google AI is that emotional literacy is important for people of all ages, but is especially important for children in educational settings. In school, emotional literacy can help students develop self-awareness and empathy and that they need to collaborate, resolve conflicts, and succeed academically. I love that last part, how you can succeed academically. Um, and Mia will talk about how MISP can help with that and resolve conflicts and collaboration, all of that. Emotional literacy is embedded in the MISP program, and I can't wait for you to talk about that. And lastly, people with low emotional literacy may have difficulty identifying feelings. That's where the kids come in. They don't have the language to say, this is how I'm feeling. So they express themselves inappropriately. They may be also likely to experience anger management issues, right? So Mia, if you want to tell us a little bit how the MISP is fits into the emotional literacy toolbox for children.
Okay, yeah, I think it goes hand in hand with it. It's a tool and another tool. And I think we need as many tools as we can find today. But our program is now established and it's well recognized by all professionals. And it does talk about positive touch for children because I believe it was Dr. Stephen Bavelek that said children have three kinds of touches. They have hurtful touches, they have scary touches, and they have nurturing touches. And unfortunately, most of them have more scary touches and hurtful touches than nurturing touches. And he said, bringing this program to the schools might be the only time in the child's day that they get a nurturing touch. And that just those words shocked me, thinking, if it's the only time a child in a day is getting a nurturing touch, it needs to be mandatory. We need to get it in all schools, if nothing else, for just that one reason.
Exactly, I agree. I used to be a preschool teacher and for 2-year-olds, and I was in a 2-year-old class and in the toddler class. And all the teachers, they want, how did I get my kids to behave? How did I get them to lay down? How was they so quiet? I massaged them. I rubbed their back. This is even before I became a massage therapist, which is one of the reasons why I became a massage therapist. And and just those hugs, those real embraces that so many of us shy away from now because of our touch phobia. But this is something that I teach now my parents and how to reestablish that connection with their kids. So it is so important. Okay, and what was the next one? I'm sorry, I cut you off, Mia. So the next topic that we was talking about was how it enhanced concentration and learning memory, sorry.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about that a little later about why and how it works. What I find is interesting is the next point when we talk about fully clothed, because it was one of the things that the parents were concerned about is Do the kids take off their clothes? No, they don't have to take off their clothes to get nurturing touch. And with schools, they don't have time. So the massage is done on the back, on the arms, on the head and face, and it's done without oils, with the clothes on, and the child always has the right to say yes or no. And that one point kind of calms down the nervous system of the parents, because they want to know, but what if it's the bully who is bullying my child who is giving the massage? Well, the child has the right to say no. They also have the right to say, I only want to give. That's okay too. We see after time, usually if they just want to do either the receiving or the giving, they'll go back and do both. They get comfortable with it. And some children absolutely need to be comfortable with touch, because maybe the touch that they've received previously is not appropriate. So it does take a while.
So,
Yeah.
Mia, what do you say to people who, when you say massage in schools and they step back and say, massage? No one's massaging my kids, or how, no one's touching my kids. What do you say about that?
Yeah, and we have to understand where the parents are coming from, and we may not know their history around touch. And so that's where we go in and say, yeah, we do understand. The difference is the child has the right to say yes or no to touch, and it's never an adult touching the child. It's always child to child, and that child has the right. Usually, when the parents, they can still look a little suspicious, we say, come into the school and watch, so you can see exactly what we're doing. And if nothing else, that calms the parents down. Just being able to come in and see, okay, this is what it is. Putting massage and schools in the same sentence, we knew it was risky. We didn't realize how risky it was. But yeah, and
Right. And what I like to say too is that the kids are touching each other anyway. So why not teach them appropriate touch? Right?
yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right. So speaking of appropriate touch and the effectiveness of touch, Mia, let's talk about the science a little bit. I went to my high school for science and math, so I like to talk science. So can you tell us why the Massage in Schools program work scientifically?
Right. And this is something that a lot of people do like. Some people don't care about it. Many teachers absolutely want to know that it's not just something that we do, but there is a reason why it does work. And to be honest with you, Sylvia and I, we had no idea about this. We were in London at a conference and met a lady named Margot Sunderland. And she runs an amazing program about bonding and attachment, among other things. And she asked us, do you know why this works? And, I think I said, yes, Sylvie, tell her why it works. And Sylvie said, well, yeah, it just works. And Margot said, no, there's a reason that it works. And it has to do with the brain. And this picture here shows our three layers of brain: the reptilian brain, the limbic system, and the neocortex. And Margot said, many kids come to school in their reptilian brain. They've either fought with parents, they haven't done their homework, they're afraid of getting bullying. For whatever reason, they come to school not prepared to learn. They come to school in their reptilian brain. And the teacher can say, okay, sit down and be quiet, and we're going to learn. And there's no way that the child can access the neocortex when they're in their reptilian brain. And she says, so what happens with massage in schools? You touch the child, or a child touches another child, and all of a sudden, they are not any longer in the reptilian brain, they're in the limbic system, in the midbrain. And from there, they can access the neocortex. And then the children learn. And she said, that's why giving this 7 minutes per child, or a total of 15 minutes, she said, the teachers may be worried about wasting time. She said, actually, they're gaining time, because within these 15 minutes, the child is calm, they're ready to learn, they are from the reptilian brain to the limbic system, and they can access the neocortex, and they learn a lot better with that. And she said, so it's actually that simple why this program works. She said, there's not many other things. I believe music was another one. But she says between touch and music, she said it's really hard to get the child out of their reptilian brain when they're already in it. So I find it amazing. I just find it so simple and so amazing that it works.
Yes, absolutely. And to share another thing, being a teacher, I know that teachers have a lot on their plates already. So sometimes they'll say, okay, well, this is just another thing I have to do. But as you mentioned, it's not something that takes from the teacher's experience as child on child. And we actually have the instructors who come in and do the instructing for the class. So it's really not another job, another task, another something that the teachers have to do. All they have to do is provide the classroom setting, and then our instructors come in, teach it to the class, and the children, and it's child to child. Right. So, and it helps, and in the long run, it helps the teacher because the children are more relaxed, right? They participate more, or they're what are some of the benefits, Mia?
I think there's a lot of benefits around massage in schools, but I think one of the biggest ones is the fact that the child has the right to say yes or no to touch. It relaxes them. It helps on the playground, and I've seen that a lot. And then the child takes it home to their parents. And one of the things I heard from one mother, she said, my child's been coming home with this massage. And she said, at first I was a little skeptical, but she said, there's nothing better than 5-year-old hands doing hearts on the back. And I thought, okay, the child is actually bringing something home, which is bonding the family together as well. So those things, the parents, the school, they've seen less, not only less bullying, but less graffiti on the playgrounds, on the schools. It's just, I mean, you could write pages about the benefits of massage in schools, not only for the school, for the teachers, for the family, for the kids
And the community.
and the community.
Yes,
Sure.
absolutely. The families have more bonding, and the community is more bonded, and the students are bonded. It's really hard to bully your friend, right?
Yes. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
really hard to bully someone that, gave you an amazing touch experience. So, so just so everyone knows that the Massage in Schools program is supported by research, and it can be found on our international website, massageinschools.com. There's also a book, Touch in Schools. Can you see my book? And it's available. You can email me or text me, send me a message. I have copies. You can purchase a copy directly from me. So now, are there any questions or reflections? I did receive some questions. I did receive some questions on the forms. Someone wanted to know, when will the program be available in their area? That will come in the second part of this presentation, but definitely we have massage in schools instructors all over. So if you would just get in contact with me, and then we can discuss on how to get this in your area. And also invite you to become an instructor. And most of our instructors have become instructors because they wanted it in their particular school. So that's a good resource there. And also I had another question about how to implement this into your classroom. So Mia, I think we can discuss a little bit um, about the different ways to implement. It is a 6-week program. Is that right?
We like to say, yeah, at least 5 weeks.
Right.
Okay. And it often depends on how old the child is, because this program is from 4 to 12. So 4-year-olds can take a little longer, 12-year-olds not as long to implement it. So it's quite flexible.
Right, right. Good, good. So if there are any other questions, and if you're receiving this as a recording, please definitely contact us. And if with any questions, and I will help get your questions answered. If I can't answer it, I'm sure Mia can help answer it. And but definitely we want to get your feedback on this. And Shirley, you know how much I support this. Oh, Shirley, thank you so much for your support. Definitely. I wish I could begin teaching all over again. I'm just delighted to learn how much it has spread. Mia, you are awesome. I wish I could see and talk with you. Well, you are seeing and talking with
Good seeing
her
you finally.
in person, right? Thank you so much for joining us. There is a second part. This is just the first part for those who wanted to know more about the program and just to reintroduce the program here in the US. The second part, which you are all definitely welcome to stay for, is for the Massage and Schools Association. And this is for our members who are our massage and schools program instructors. I always get them mixed up, MISA and MISP, right? Our MISP instructors and how to just incorporate and how to pass this along in your community. But don't go away because stay for the next part. This should only take about 20 minutes or so. And this is for the MISA USA. So as I mentioned, I am the president of MISA USA. We have a board of now 3 members. We have 4, one dropped off. She moved to a different country. Janine, she was supposed to be here, but something came up last minute, so we miss her. And also Rachel, today is her birthday. So, and she couldn't make it. So definitely we are looking for, we've been on this board for 2 years now, coming up on 3 years. So it is time to either say we want to stay on or to invite other members in. So if anyone who is listening now or is listening to the recording is interested in joining the MISA USA board, please contact me. I will have my contact information available for you. And so one of the big things that we talk about or that we have our needs met, is in the marketing. The marketing part of it, we market to teachers, to preschools, to who else do you think, Mia, would be a good resource for the program?
Anybody who has anything to do with children, like now, our program has also included mini MISP, which is for children from 2 to 3 years old. And sometimes that's an easier place to get into. So any preschool teachers, any schools that are like private schools, Montessori schools, Waldorf schools, homeschooling. And I would also like to see people who are like the Sandy Hook project. I think it's called the Sandy Hook Project, who I think they're coming up on 12 years
Wow.
who had the school shooting there. I think these people are really good people to contact to try to get this program in their schools or their associations.
Yes, I love that you mentioned the Sandy Hook project. Just really anytime there is a school shooting, I feel like there needs to be a bunch of MISP instructors who can come together, go to that community and offer this program because it really reconnects you to yourself. It reconnects you to your community, to your family. And it's just a resource that I think goes under the radar. The touch is so important. Okay, and another thing that we talk about on the MISA USA board is how is support for the instructors. So we have marketing materials that you can download. We have the books that you can purchase. We have the postcards and the just any kind of materials that you need that can support you as an instructor. We have that. If you would just contact us, we can make sure that we get you the resources that you need. And Also, if you know anyone who wants to become an instructor, we need instructors all over. We have them already in most states. Is very active in the Midwest. I believe California really wants to get on board as well. So if you're interested on either becoming an instructor or having an instructor come out to your program, then that is something that the MISA USA board can help you with. And as far as the future of the MISP in the United States, I think it is wonderful. I think it is growing. I think that the energy that we're putting in and that we're seeing, I'm having a lot more interest, people asking questions about it. So the more we put it out there, the more that I think we will see it spread throughout the United States. So I'm excited about the future of the MISP in the USA. And then finally, we have our questions and answers. Again, if you are receiving this as a recording, then submit your questions to me.
Okay,
So some of the things that we are working on is to get the MIS certified in different areas. We working to get it approved for the massage therapy continuing education, for teacher continuing education credits, and also as a an approved program for schools. So as far as Safe Touch, I forget what it's called, but that's why we need Janine here. She was the one who's spearheading that.
can get people who can help us with getting CEUs, then we get teachers to say, okay, I'll give up my weekend to come in and do this. It's an easy CEU. And that's the way it was with massage therapists. I don't know how much they went ahead and did something, but it gave them a qualification to be able to do it. So those who got their qualifications and they thought, well, I could do this in my child's school. I don't
Yeah.
want to make a career out of it, but I want to bring it into my children's school.
Right. So that's important. A lot of times it is the parents who will say, I want this in my child's school. And even teachers can get certified in it and teach it in their classroom. And then the other teachers will wonder why their classroom is so awesome. And, and then that's how it spreads. Yes.
As well as with homeschools, a lot of the really active homeschoolers, they look for things to do with the children because they get them together to do things. And this is a great activity. We've had quite a bit of success with homeschoolers
Homeschoolers.
yeah,
Yes.
who did
That
this. So
is
that's great. Yeah.
right. That is something that I definitely would look at. We often forget about the homeschoolers. So yes, that is definitely something that we can tap into. And also Janine and we sort of had the same idea, like all at once, is that eventually what we would like to see is Miss schools, like, having a physical location where sort of like field trips, kids can come on field trips into our location, learn the program, and take it back to their schools.
Yeah, great. That's great.
That's what
Great
we would
vision.
like. It's there. It's just little steps at a time
Steps, yeah.
forward, Yep. Well, thank you so much, Mia, for joining us. And I appreciate your time. And I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
And thank you, Anita. I mean, thank you for stepping up and bringing this forward into the next year. So much appreciated.
My pleasure.